Stephen A. Smith accused Democrats of forgetting about black Americans, leading to President Trump's small boost in support among the demographic during the 2024 election. Speaking on News Nation's Kumo Monday night, Smith said Democrats don't take the time to tell black voters what they have been doing successfully. Instead, he said, they simply repeat the same talking points they have had for decades. Democrats may be doing things on the state and local level and may deserve an abundance of credit for it, but that's not the message that we were receiving. And you know why we weren't receiving that message? Because they didn't think they could sell it to us. They didn't think that they would be good enough, Smith said. Instead, Smith said many are prioritizing other communities and issues. With this latest stuff, with the whole woke culture, cancel culture, transgender issues, and all the other stuff you got to remember along the way, you forgot about us. And why? Because you know you have our vote, because that's been the case since the mid-'60s, Smith said. Smith, who recently said he is leaving all doors open for a presidential run, added the Democrats have also begun to ostracize black voters and guilt them into voting for a party by accusing Republicans of, So, let's see here. A little bit more of the article. That's the gist of it. Trump was able to get, I believe, 20% of the black vote. And with each time he's run, it's gone up a little bit. It was like single digits in 2016. Then it was like 12 or 13% in 2020. And then it ended up being, I believe, 20% the last time. So about a fifth of all black voters voted for the Republican, which is normally, 20% of people voting for you is normally not anything to be proud of. But because for so long black voters have, by and large, been a traditional block for the Democratic candidate, it really surprised people, or rather is giving way to this idea that the Democrats are losing the black vote. But I agree with what Smith is saying. Democrats feel like they don't have to do anything. They just have our vote. And it's one of those issues where you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because if you keep voting for the Democrats to like stave off the Republican who you believe is worse, you're going to, not incentivize them to ever feel like they have to do anything to appeal to you. But then if you vote for the Republican, you're co-signing on something that is also pretty lousy, and then you get blamed for them winning because you weren't a good little soldier voting for your Democrats. So I don't. It's so screwed up, because again, it's like you look at, for example, Hispanics, and a lot of Democrats instinctively know to say, hey, look, we don't support these deportations. We want to have some kind of, they are the community that's most affected by immigration laws. So when Democrats speak about those types of laws and go into those communities, around Arizona, Texas, etc., they are attempting to appeal to them. But ask yourself, when's the last time you've seen Democrats go to Jacksonville or Atlanta or any of these other cities that are, mostly in the good old red South that have a majority black population? You never see them seek us out in any of the areas where we would be the largest group, or even, the biggest one for them to try and appeal to. And that's because they just don't care. They don't think that they have to do any kind of work for our votes. It is taken for granted. And it's really sad, because a lot of black voters stayed home, not wanting to support, as Jill Stein was calling her, Holocaust Harris, or Trump. So it's sort of a mixture of like, you can blame some of us. You can go, oh, you guys, a lot of blacks just were not enthused by the Democrats. They weren't enthused by them this last year, 4 years before that, 4 years before that. And this party just doesn't seem to learn the lesson. And the crazy part is that they think they can possibly make up for it by appealing to these other groups, but there is no ethnic group, whether we're talking about whites, Hispanics, no other group that is more loyal to the Democratic Party than African Americans, and that for that reason, they should be one of the most consistent subjects of devotion and concern for the Democrats nationwide. They should be talking about. You have a lot of blacks that are statistically have higher incarceration rates, so they should be talking about prison reform and commuting these sentences and trying to get just some attempts at addressing ills of the community. But they don't care. They don't think any of this stuff is going to be worth it for them, and that's why they're going to keep on losing that black vote. It has been a consistent through line of them getting less and less of it over these past couple of presidential elections. So if we get to, let's say, 2028, and you have 25 or 30% of blacks voting for Vance or Carlson or Rubio, it's like I can't feel bad for the Democrats because they don't do anything. They just sit around, appealing to what seems like every other damn group, leave us out to dry, and then expect to be supported with an almost universal stamp of approval. Like, to hell with you. So, like I said, I don't think Smith is going to be the Democrats' nominee. I don't think he's going to even be a serious contender. But when people say something that I think has merit to it, I try to be objective and see where they're valid in their criticism or complaints, and I think that's the case here. The Democrats are a party which has become so used to having the vote of blacks that they just don't think they have to do anything anymore. It is taken for granted, and the only thing I can see that's going to make them, I'm not even talking about blacks voting for Republicans, but just like if they saw a drop off where a lot of blacks either didn't vote or voted for some other party like the Green Party, I think that would be another wake up call for that. It's one of those things where you just have to get them to just be the lower, less voted for party for a while for them to finally acknowledge, yeah, this whole model is not working.